dime lo que tú quieres de mi coqueta. Sé lo que te gusta es salir y se suelta. Cuando baila reggaetón pa' mí que muñeca. Me gusta salir y seducir.
We're live. Welcome back to Let's Go Moguls. It's your boy, the one with SkarxFace, your boy SkarxFace, and I got my co-host again, Jon.
What's up, guys? I took a break. I went on vacation for the past 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, last one something happened to the files and we weren't able to put it out, but we got this one coming out. But anyways, this episode is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You know, it's a subscription-based box that I always use it. They recently sent us a bunch of stuff like the deodorant, the facial, like the creams and stuff. They're amazing, and I love it just because it's a subscription-based box. You know, you can put whatever you want into it monthly, and then they'll ship it out to you. And sometimes, like I mentioned before, I always forget to like go and buy razors and stuff like that, because when you go to the grocery store or to wherever you go, you always forget. But if you're there and you see one of the already pre-made kits, you can buy them already as like just a trial.
Yeah, so that way, if you don't know if you want to go ahead and order it every month, you can go ahead and just get it like a one-time deal.
Yeah, so check them out. We're gonna put the link down below, so you know, go and check them out. And then also something exciting happened.
Yep.
The Chunky Chicanos finally came out. It's an NFT. That's it. For those that don't know, if you haven't listened to those episodes, you know, go and check those out. Just because NFTs is where everything is going, especially like the digital art. There's just a bunch. They're available now. If you go to chunkychicanos.com, you do need a MetaMask wallet. We are going to make some videos on how to purchase them, just because they are a little difficult to purchase at first.
Through most people.
Yeah, people reach out, and we've been basically walking them through how to purchase. And once you figure out how to do it, it's easy.
What I like, the cool part of it is like on the website or the Instagram, it shows you like each character that each one comes, because it's random generated. So when you mint them, you go ahead and buy them off the Polygon network, and then from there it kind of like auto generates. So you don't
get a random one.
And then off of there, you kind of base off of the rarity through the charts. And actually got a pretty rare one.
Yeah, I was kind of jealous of that one. So go and check them out. And also, since we're on this topic, we talked about it right before, go and vote for us. We got nominated for the best podcast in Southeast Idaho. We're going to drop the link. If you can vote once a day until the 22nd, I think it is, we would really appreciate it. You know, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all the support. But I'm excited for this episode. Yep. Especially, I know his fiance was excited because she
was stoked.
Because she would do her hair with her before, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so we have Devyn, right?
Yeah, Devyn.
From Glow Hair Inc.
Glow Hair Co. and
Hair Co.
BraggnBeauty.
BraggnBeauty. That's her Instagram too. So I want people to get to know you. Are you originally from Idaho?
Yeah, so I'm from Idaho Falls. And we'll just get into the whole hair thing. I started doing hair illegally when I was like 4 years old.
Illegally?
Well, it's not legal until like 2018. It's only legal if you got a license. But I just remember my mom never knew how to braid my hair. Mm-hmm. She was like, "You like ponytails?" I'm like, "I don't want a ponytail. I want braids." And so I remember teaching myself how to braid. And we would always go to New Jersey for vacations. And so while we were in New Jersey, my uncle owns a nationally ranked salon down there. So it was just so fun. The whole entire vacation, I would just hang out in the salon, like ask the girls if they need anything. And I fell in love with how these stylists you would get this little glimpse of happiness in people's eyes whenever you transform their hair. And I never knew how important it was for girls to feel that way, and also men. And so that sparked my interest in hair. And then my grandpa is actually a barber in New Jersey. And he has he has a historical monument barbershop. It's been there for so long. He's been cutting hair for like 65 years. Retired NFL players' hair. And
right there in New Jersey? Mm-hmm. So you're talking about New Jersey. Did you live here, and would you go and visit?
So my dad is from New Jersey.
Okay.
So he's the only one that branched out to come to Idaho, and so his dad and brother are out in New Jersey.
Okay. And did he come out here because of your mom?
For school.
Oh, okay.
And then he met my mom.
Oh, nice.
And then they got married, and they're like, Idaho's pretty cool.
So you guys would go back and forth, and
yeah.
You want to say what salon it was that you
It was Just Braggon. Hair salon in New Jersey, and then my grandpa's barbershop is just Larry's barbershop.
And 65 years, so he was probably doing like the old school.
Must be yoked too.
Yeah. Oh, he's got one arm that he's just like one side doesn't work as well anymore, and he's just one side, and he just cuts with like one hand.
Oh, dang.
and he's like still doing it. He's like, I don't quote me, but I think he's like 78, 80.
Putting you on the spot.
Does he have like? Does anybody like plan on taking that over, or just kind of following his footsteps? Or?
He's just like, it's just a cash flow business. So like he has a great retirement set up, but he's just like.
Does he have other barbers that work for him, or was it just him?
It's just him.
What?
Dang, so he's not planning on, passing that along to anybody?
I don't think so. I think well, maybe he's thought about it, but he does such old school things. Like trends have changed now, and so his clientele is more of like the older clientele.
Flat top type of deal.
Yeah.
What I picture when she was talking about him is that how they used to have like that towel around their arm, when they're
Oh, 100%.
the straight razor.
This is him like all the time. And then I just remember we'd go to like we go to eat like breakfast. They go to breakfast every morning, and he would just pull out this like wad of cash. I'm like, what the heck? He just has like $100 bills. Just okay, I'll pay for it. And I'm like, so he just has a cash flow business that he just
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
Constantly is making money,
and that's cool that you were around that environment. Just because, by the looks of it, it inspired you to this day. Like just being around that. That's why I think it's important to. Like if you have younger siblings, I don't know if you have younger siblings than you, like to help inspire them, like to do like, oh, like she does this, she has her own business and things like that. Yeah. And they kind of, hopefully they follow in the same footsteps. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Some of them don't exactly go that way. So
I love it.
You're here, right? You said you were doing hair illegally,
for my whole entire life.
Was it just like you were friends wanted to get their hair dyed and?
So it was mostly like up until I went to hair school, I didn't do any chemical services, which was like color and stuff. But I kind of ran like a little side business ever since I was in 6th grade, and I would just do girls' hair for prom. And so I was doing that from 6th grade up until I graduated high school.
Okay, and just know
Larry's is listening. I say
like non-pay taxes.
Non-pay taxes.
No, that's really cool because that you were just styling their hair, no dyeing or anything. Did you ever get in trouble by anybody and be like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that?
No.
I
don't think they'll come after. I'm like, I'm just braiding hair. There's nothing I can.
No, it's because some people actually do get jealous. They'll get jealous because they'll say you're not licensed, you're not this, you're not that. You shouldn't be doing
a
it.
lot more when you're older though, because I don't know about 14-year-old girls.
I know, if a 14-year-old girl showed up and was like, I'm doing your hair for your wedding, they're like, okay, this is like charity.
Yeah. Would you do it for free?
No, I would charge I would say like, nah, I'm not going to charge you, but they just tip me like $10.
Yeah, and
I just love doing it.
Yeah, you were just like, I'm rolling in it now.
Yeah, I'm making some money.
So you're going along. You graduate.
Yeah.
Was your goal initially to get involved in the hair industry, or did you want to go to college and do something different?
I always wanted to go into hair industry. I always wanted to like own my own business, and I always wanted to be my own boss. I hated working a 9 to 5. The thought of that just like makes me cringe. And so I graduated high school, and I went up to Paul Mitchell School, Rexburg, and that's where I started, and I just took advantage of all my opportunities in hair school and just really wanted to be the best and really wanted to strive to set myself up for success for later on.
So like this is kind of like a new thing that you kind of mentioned earlier, that there's like salons popping up everywhere, barbershops popping everywhere. What do you think differentiates someone that's successful that went through the same program as you did and they're not in the same spot as you are?
I think it all comes down to you're either money hungry or you're in it for people. And I feel like when you're money hungry, it's so fast. But then people start to realize that they don't really care about you.
Yeah.
They just care about the money. And so I think that's what sets me apart and sets what I've taken is I want to serve people. That's why I went into doing hair. It's not to make money. It's to serve people and to make people feel good about themselves. And so with starting my passion there has helped for me to grow this successful business because it's all about the people. It's not about me.
Yeah, no,
what's the saying they say all the time?
So I don't know if you know Troy and Brandy over at Graffiti Beauty and Barber. So I'm really good friends with them, and something they always tell me, and Weech, they're always like passion over profit, just 100%. Because just like you said, the moment you start chasing money, the money runs. But if you chase your passion, the money eventually comes. And if you're not chasing that passion, you're not going to continue learning. You're not going to continue like wanting to, please your customers, your clients and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, they're like returning customers. Like when you do something to their hair, you know, and then they rebook with you, that's like guaranteed money to, you know, to be coming in. But if you do their hair, you dye it, or you cut it and they hate it, or they just don't like the experience, they're not going to come back. They're just going to find somewhere else.
I think it's like 50% skill and 50% experience. You can give someone an awesome haircut, awesome hair color, and they're going to love it. But if you don't give them the experience and you don't give them your undivided attention, they're not going to stay. And so I think that's what I just have always focused on, is making people have the best possible experience no matter where I'm at, to help them understand that, like, this is for you. This isn't for me. And so anything that they want, really catering to them.
Does your mood affect the performance at all?
100%. If I'm not in the right mindset, it's not the best day. And so I always just...
I've noticed that, at least for haircuts. My old barber, like, went to this person for, like, probably 3-4 years, like religiously. And I could feel like at the end, it was like whatever mood they were in, I could already like know what kind of cut I was getting.
Well, it's kind of crazy that you say that. So your hair actually holds the most energy on your body, and so anytime you go through something traumatic, that's the first thing you want to change is the hair. Like, you want a haircut, you want to dye your hair, you want to do anything. So anytime girls go through breakups, they're like, I want to go black, and I'm like,
Or super blonde, yeah,
or super blonde,
or just chop it all off.
Yeah, chop it off. And so, so it's interesting because as a service provider, you have to make sure your energy's in check. And if it's not in check, then it's going to lead to your clients. And if it leads to your clients, and that's the last thought that they had when they were sitting in your chair was, you know, something's off. I didn't really vibe with them. And then the next appointment, it's going to be the same thing. So if you keep your energy in check, and the next time they come in, make sure that energy is matching very consistent energy with everybody else, then I think that's what helps.
I wonder if it's more
mindset.
Like girls. Because I mean, I go get a haircut and I'm like, okay, it's gonna grow back in 2 weeks. But like, I know my fiance, when she go with you, she's like, oh my gosh, like I already got my appointment, I can't wait. And I'm like, okay. She's like, you need to show emotion. I'm like, I mean, for me, like a haircut is just a haircut. Like, yeah, if they mess it up, they'll grow in 2 weeks. But I don't know about girls. If
it's
like
a little
that,
different for
like more emotional attachment that they're like getting a new, like, I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it.
And then I think it comes a lot to the experience that you guys provide. You know, if you guys don't provide a good experience for your clientele, obviously they're not going to feel like that. They're just going to be like, like, I'm going to go get my hair done.
Yeah.
No, that's funny how that you bring that up, because we've heard that before too, is when somebody goes through some sort of like breakup or something bad happens to them, they want to do something instantly to their hair. They want to dye it like a super red. I'm not calling, if you have your hair red, I'm not saying
like no shame. You look great.
We know exactly who you're talking about. Just kidding.
It's like, I'm not saying that, but you know, they do like a really dramatic change. I didn't go through a break. I'm just trying to grow my hair out. I'm actually I'm going for the Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah. Nice.
But
love Jason Momoa. Now you just need a balayage on that little sun kiss action.
It's funny because when I tell people that I'm growing my hair out, and they're like, I have a feeling that you're gonna have nicer hair than me, and I'm like, maybe. I was like,
it always happens to boys though. I don't know what it is. Men that grow out their hair, and I'm like, what? They're like, oh, I use a 4-in-1 that has shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and, you know, some like mouthwash as well.
So I don't understand that. So, girls like with shampoo, like, I'm like, how'd you pay for this? Like $100 bucks. I'm like, what does it do? I'm like,
no. So I learned because I'm really good friends with them, like Brandy and Troy, how bad shampoo and conditioner are that you buy from like a Walmart compared to the ones. Yeah, they're trying to sell it in your salon in their salon, but it's not because they're trying to make money off you. It's because they're trying to provide the right products for your hair. Like, especially if you damage it, like dyeing it or anything like that. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. I think with the difference between drugstore products and professional products is drugstore products have a lot of sulfates, parabens, parabens, and those just build up on your hair. So then if you spend, you know, $200 to $300 on your hair color, and then you go and spend $6 shampoos and conditioners, it's just going to destroy your color. And then you're never, it's like a maintenance thing. It's like if you buy a really nice car, are you going to put really crappy oil in it, or are you going to put the highest grade oil in it?
You buy a Lambo and you try to put 85 in it, like, you know, like,
I can't afford the expensive stuff.
So you're like, man, I just spent $100,000 on this car. Let me just.
Yeah, I didn't know the difference because I would always buy my stuff from, I think it was Walmart, and it's funny. After I started buying the stuff that they sell there, I saw a huge difference, like just a huge difference in like how your hair felt, how your scalp feels, and it's worth it. Like the shampoo and conditioner that I bought, I ended up paying like $60 for it. But
How long did it last you?
I still have it.
Yeah.
My first time changing, I still have it, and it lasts me a long time. I know it's now. She was like, it's things you learn. You're not supposed to, when your hair's longer, you're not supposed to wash it almost every day.
Yep.
Just because that is pretty bad. What does it do to your head?
So your natural oils are actually like the best oils that you can possibly have on your hair, on your head. So if you utilize them, you're gonna have healthier hair. Versus every time you wash them, it's just you're breaking the hydrogen bond. So whenever you break the hydrogen bond and you're putting these crappy products in it, it's just gonna weaken the hydrogen bond, and then it's gonna make its way to the salt bond.
See, like it's funny. I'm not calling anybody out, but how long ago was it that you were in school?
I started school in 2017 and I graduated in 2018.
Okay, yeah, because you know quite a bit. You know quite a bit. So you're doing the school. Let's go back a little bit. You're doing the school. Did you want to continue doing it? Like sometimes people get involved. Like say they love, like they want to be a stylist. But then they get involved and they realize how much work it is, how much they have to learn, how much they have to remember. Did you ever get to the point where you're like, is this really what I want to do?
I don't think so. Obviously, you go through ups and downs where you're like, oh crap, what am I doing? What am I doing? And then you just have to like reroute yourself. I just remember in hair school, we had so many opportunities that I put myself out there and I entered into a competition called Promish, where I just had to post a prom hairstyle, and apparently you win a trip to Vegas. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm like, little girl from Idaho Falls. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to like win this trip. And then I got news that I won. And so they sent me to Las Vegas, and I was able to meet the owner and founder of Paul Mitchell.
Oh, wow.
And have just like,
I think I've seen that post somewhere. Is he like salt pepper?
Yeah,
guy? Okay.
John Paul.
Yeah, I think I've seen
John
that
Paul.
picture somewhere.
Yeah. So I was able to meet them and just like sit down and talk with them. And they just were like, it was so cool to see their experience and them talking about, well, we were in the same position you were in. And this is like, keep going. This feeling that you felt whenever you won this, and whenever you got that recognize your self-worth, keep running with it. Remember this feeling and just take it on. So I think anytime I'm in a tough situation and in a rut, I always just have to change something ASAP. Whether that is I change social media and I change what I'm posting, or I tweak a hair color. I just always strive to do every single day on all my clients something different. So I'm constantly learning. So I never will foil someone's hair the exact same. I'll never tone someone's hair the exact same. I'll never have the same conversation with someone. I always try to change it, because that just, the more uncomfortable you are, the more learning you'll do.
Yeah, that's for sure. I always tell people, like, and no matter what you're doing, it could be hairstyle, like whatever profession you choose. Like if you're not uncomfortable, then, or constantly learning something new, you're not going to be that much better. So it's always a lot of learning. That's because especially in the hair industry, because hairstyles are always changing. Like if you go back like even 5 years, everyone was doing their hair differently, and like things change. TikTok, like if you see a bunch of influencers wearing a certain style of hair, they're like, hey, I want that. Do you ever get that? Like, I want this exact thing.
100%.
And then you're like, I don't know if you can get that exact thing.
100%. And I think that was like one of the hardest things to learn, is like, because obviously going into a service industry, you're a people pleaser. So the first thing you want to do is like put people first. But sometimes if you put someone first and it's not for the best interest of both of parties, it's not a win-win on either side, then you kind of have to take a step back and be like, okay, that's awesome. But I always like to tell my clients whenever they come in with those like unrealistic expectations and it's their first time, I'm always like, this is our first date. Okay. I'm going to put some liner on your hair. We're going to have some conversation and we're going to see if it flows. If it flows, then let's set up another appointment. And then that just sets the expectations up for we're on the same page.
Yeah.
This is both of our end goals. We both want to get from point A to point B, but we won't know until we actually start trying.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Especially in the Hispanic community, they think some people, they think when you go get your hair done that one session, you're going to have whatever you show them. You know what I mean? Like, but they don't realize that it takes multiple sessions. And just like you said, if it's your first time with that hairstylist, they're trying to learn the texture of your hair, like your skin, like how it reacts to certain things, because, it's weird. I always like hang out with a bunch of like barbers and like hairstylists, and I go to conventions, like barber conventions, just because I love this whole industry. Just because there's nothing but hustlers, entrepreneurs, and they all like trying to get their salon up and going. So it's like little things like that you start learning.
Yeah.
That a lot goes into it. Did you ever get someone who just completely was pissed off at you just because you didn't give them what they wanted, what their picture was?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of stories.
Well, give us one and what you
Okay.
learned from it.
Okay, so I had a girl come in, and I'm not even kidding you. She brought me a paint sample
Like a paint.
from like Lowe's. It's like Sherelle Williams.
Wow.
And she goes, and then she brought me in a picture of like a wig. She goes, I want this color all over.
Oh.
And I'm like, I think in the last 3 years, things have changed where 3 years ago, you'd say yes to everything. And now you're realizing I want to specialize in this. So if it's not in this category, I'm not going to say yes to, which I wish that was a thing 3 years ago, but it wasn't. So I said yes to her hair. I spent like 5 or 6 hours doing her hair. Turned out fantastic. Turned out like spot on. I was so proud of myself. The next day, she sends me in flowers. She's like, here's your favorite drinks. Here's your favorite snacks. I'm like, this client is awesome. I'm like, she really like appreciates the hard work that I just put into her hair. And then 3 days pass. And I told her, hey, your hair's going to fade. This is just how it is. So we need to set up appointments closer together to maintain your color. And she texts me like 3 days later and is like, you're awful. I hate my hair. It's faded. I spent way too much money on this. You didn't get me where you wanted. So me being the people pleaser, I was like, okay, I'll get you back in. I did her hair again for free. And then 6 months down the road, and she's like, hey, I still want to get to this color. Comes back in again, do her hair again. She's like, oh, I love it. Sends me flowers. I'm like, okay, sweet. Like I'm getting some like passive aggressive, like manipulation. I'm like, what? How do I deal with this? And finally, by the third time, I was like, listen, it's not going to work out. And it was kind of scary because I wish I would have listened to my gut after the first time that she said something. But I just had to be straight up with her. And I said, hey, it's not going to work out. This is something I don't specialize in. Here's a recommendation of people I think would do a fantastic job. She ends up calling the salon. She ends up texting me like 50 times, sends me a voicemail, and just was ripped into me about, well, if my hair's not good, my husband's going to divorce me, like all this stuff.
Wow.
It's nuts. And so that's when I was just like, I'm just going to block her and I'm just going to like move
Continue
on.
my life.
To this day, I still have this like,
Anxiety that she.
yeah.
Oh, she's right there.
But what I learned from that situation is just trusting your gut from the very beginning and not, and the expectations of literally she brought me in a paint sample. Like it's just not a realistic thing. And so saying no from the very beginning would have been better. But now I know that when it's unrealistic from the very beginning, it's just not going to work out.
Yeah, especially like that.
It was
that's
a paint sample.
Yeah,
dude.
like a paint sample. I've never heard that. I've heard people bring in like maybe a picture of somebody, and that's another thing is they'll look on they'll see an actor, they'll see like a TikTok star, or they'll see something.
Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, and they'll be like, I want that exactly, and you're like, well, we can get close to that, but it's not gonna look like
I'm
that.
like, how about let's find a wig? That would be so good.
Cheaper.
A little bit cheaper, yeah. But that's just what I learned from it. Is just like setting the expectation up from the very beginning. It'll just save you both in the end.
So when you won this like this trip down to
Yeah.
it was Las Vegas. You
Yeah.
said, how did that feel like afterwards? Like were you like I'm on the right path here? Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah, so I felt so cool. I was like, yeah, Devyn. Good job, Devyn. And I just wanted to keep chasing that feeling. And so I entered in another competition, won that one, also got sent to Vegas again. And then I won another one, went to California, and all throughout hair school. So the more and more I saw it, the more I saw these successful artists with Paul Mitchell thrive, and they started just where I was. So I was like, okay, well, I want to be there. I want to be successful. And I don't care if I'm from Idaho Falls. I'm going to make a name for myself.
I wonder if that's like what discourages a lot of people. Like we're in a small town in Idaho. Like, where's that at on the map?
Yeah, they're like not a lot of
Ohio?
artists come out from here. Did you ever receive? Because that's all. Like I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are too afraid to enter, even if you don't win your first one. Keep trying, keep trying to get better. But did you ever get any jealousy from the people here? Or did you ever feel like, I
feel like
she
hair
thinks she's
school-
all cool?
Yeah, but I'm like, whatever. I'm just trying the best I can.
Yeah.
In hair school, I will say it was like another high school.
I've heard that before.
I think that's why people get so turned away from it. It's because they're focusing on making friends versus making a career for yourself. And I think when you make that shift, you see a huge change in your schooling. And so, yeah, in hair school, I had some people that were jealous, and I'm like, I really don't care because, like,
Well,
in
especially-
3 years, we're not going to remember this.
So you win these competitions, right? what do you do after that? Were you like, I'm gonna come? Did you think about working somewhere like a big name salon, or were you like, I'm gonna come back and maybe open my own or work for somebody else?
So after that, my dream would always be to be in California, and I would love to do the celebrities' hair. That was kind of my end goal. And with being in Rexburg, I started dating my husband. He was finishing up school at BYU, Idaho. And so I was like, okay, I'll just work at a salon in Rexburg. And I worked at a beautiful commission salon in Rexburg. I learned a lot. They focused on balayage and stuff. So I was able to specialize in what I wanted to. And then 6 months down the road, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do my own thing. I want to be my own boss. And so I switched over to booth rent and just started running my own schedule in 2019. And then my husband was going to graduate and we were actually going to move to Dallas. And I was planning on working like a big salon in Dallas. And then once that all came around, COVID hit. And so we got shut down for a month. And I just looked at kind of my numbers and I saw a huge opportunity for Idaho Falls. And Idaho Falls needed something like this. And I just took the leap of faith and I just decided to stay in Idaho Falls. And then after that, I worked at another salon with Eduardo and Tiffany, and I learned so much from them. And I was just still chasing that high of like, okay, what's my end goal? What's the next move? And going into like starting Glow Hair Co. I feel like you learn a lot of people. You get to know a lot of people whenever you do their hair, and you make a lot of connections. And so after that, I met my business partner. She came in and got her hair done. I just loved hanging out with her. We were so connected. We had such a good vibe. She's a Gemini and I'm a Sagittarius. So we just fueled each other. And then that's when we kind of were like, you know what, let's just start a salon. Let's do it. And so.
Is she a hairstylist as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
She graduated hair school from a while ago and then is jumping back into doing hair.
Dang. So were you nervous at all? Like getting into like, now we're looking for a location, and after that, you have to build it to what you need it for. You know, did you ever? Were you kind of nervous? Were you scared? Like, what was going on?
I mean, I was scared, but I feel like if you're not scared, then you're not doing something right. And so we just kept taking those next steps, and every step just felt right. And with going into a partnership, I was really excited because I knew that I was more of the creative side of things and more of the structural side, organization side. Business side wasn't really, I was involved, but it wasn't my main passion. And so for her, she's like super passionate about the business side, the organization and managing. And so it just worked out.
Yeah, because we actually saw your article it was in East Idaho News.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And it mentioned something about your mom being involved too.
I don't think my mom, did it say my mom? I might have said my mom.
I think it said something about.
I can't remember.
Because I originally thought it was you and your mom as business partners.
Oh, maybe they did put my mom. It's not my mom. Don't tell Amanda that. She won't like it.
She won't like. No, yeah. So I saw that and I was like, oh wow, she's like actually doing a lot of big. How old are you right now?
I'm 23.
23 years old and has like an amazing
Balling
mindset.
like Jordan, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like she's balling like Jordan. Like it's incredible that you have that mindset because a lot of people your age don't have that mindset, don't have that drive, don't have that passion. But it's not like it's not like it's weird how I explain like when you want to do it. You know, no one was paying you before to like be motivated to learn how to do it, like go to school, do all these things. But you, at the end of the day, I'm sure you had like an end goal, like I want to have my own business. I want to be doing my own thing. And I'm sure it feels great after like all the years that you've put in, you know, building up to your hair salon, the one you have now. Yeah. And like you own it, like it's yours. How long ago was it open?
So it's only been open. So we've been working on it since September, and it just opened beginning of April.
This past April,
yeah,
right?
Like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so it's like really soon. That whole time you guys were construction, building and stuff like that. So what are some of your goals? Is that your entire team that you have on there?
Yeah, I saw the picture. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, you have quite a bit. Do you ever get nervous that now, like, oh dang, like, you're a business owner. You're a boss.
I tell people when to go home, and I'm like, hey, go home, and they're like, okay. I'm like, okay, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't necessarily get nervous because I've always seen myself as a natural leader. And so it fuels me to know that I'm helping these girls start a lifetime career and helping them to make money for their family. And so I get more excited than anything because I just have so many ideas and so many goals for BraggnBeauty and Glow Hair Co. in the next 5 years. And so yeah, I just get more excited than nervous.
When did your, because I saw your Instagram has, I think like 13.3 thousand followers.
13.5.
13.5. Like how did when did that following start? And you're like, oh dang, people are actually like liking what I'm doing.
I feel like it shifted after, I will say social media switched after COVID. People were following you because you were cute, because you did good work. But now people are following you because they want to learn. And so I'm like, well, sweet, I have tons of knowledge in my brain. Might as well just share what I'm doing. And so I think it started to grow when I started to teach people about hair care, teach people about how to style their hair, what colors I used, and just educating my following that just exploded.
Yeah, because like say someone who has a salon and doesn't really post on social media, do you think it's crucial for them to, if they're not on the social media platforms, they need to be?
100%. I think people nowadays don't just Google your name. People nowadays will look you up on Instagram first. So if they look you up on Instagram and they can see, okay, you have a dog, you have a family, it gives people more of a connection with you. So whenever they are sitting in your chair, it's not uncomfortable. It's not like, okay, so how old are you? How'd you meet your husband? It's like they already know all the information, so you get right into the deep stuff.
Dang, that's smart. It's like,
yeah, and but at the same time, like it's amazing. But at the same time, it also feels like a job when you have to constantly. You're like, oh, I have to post something for Instagram. Like I have to film something. Like
it is a lot. I will say, like especially when you deal with people all day. You have a 4-hour appointment with someone, and it's draining because you're so into this conversation. So whenever you go home, you're just like, man, I'm drained. But I always say, I like to plan content ahead, but also I just like, if I'm in a creative mood, even if that's 11 o'clock at night, 8 a.m., whatever, I'm going to make all my videos. And I'm just going to keep going until my brain stops. And that's how I create my content.
Do you create it like say, oh, I have idea for this. Let me get a model, have her come in and know she's going to be sitting here listening to me? Or do you do it with paid clients that?
I do with paid clients because I feel like with social media and being a hairdresser on social media, if you come to me, there's going to be a likely chance that you're going to get filmed or have pictures taken of you. Because if you found me on social media, you see, oh, I take pictures of my client's hair. And so a lot of times people come and be like, hey, I have a real idea. Let's do it. And so I'm like, okay.
Oh, they tell you?
Yeah. Or we'll be like, hey, I want to make a reel today. Do you have any ideas? And really get their input on it. So it's, they feel like they're helping and contributing with like my social media. And I've also seen a huge in the last probably 2 months TikTok.
Are you on TikTok too?
Yeah.
So see, this is what people don't understand. That it ends up being, it looks cool, like on Instagram having those followers. But they don't realize that it takes a lot of work. You have to film the stuff. I don't know if you do any post editing or if you just film off your phone. But it ends up being a job too. Yeah. So now, not only are you a business owner, now you have forced to be a content creator and editor and posting, and now you have to post on all the platforms. Yeah. You can't just post on Instagram. Yeah. If you're not on TikTok, you need to be on TikTok. It doesn't matter what business you're in.
That's where the money's at right now.
I just barely got the opportunity to get paid for my reels. So with posting 3 reels, I've already made $200
on Instagram.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Like it's little things like this that people don't realize that you can make. I always tell people there's millions of ways to make money. You just have to figure out which one.
100%. Well, and like on TikTok, these kids are making like $2 million, and I'm like, you just made a video you dancing. What the freak?
And it wasn't even that great. Like,
no.
He pulls out his.
He's like,
no, it's because
Edgar's been on the roll lately, and he's gonna get his phone confiscated because
he hates my So I'm weird, right?
No, like, I'm weird too.
I'm weird. I'm one of those guys that I do absolutely do not care what people think. Hey, you want to do me a favor? Yeah. Want to get rid of Spider-Man over there real quick?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Because he's on the camera and
oh my heck, it's like terrible.
I'm a blur the.
How about we just zoom in? Just zoom in on it.
No spiders were hurt
during the making of this. It was a paid actor.
No, it was a paid actor.
I got him on the bottom of my.
No, people don't realize that
Spider-Man.
there's millions of ways to make money, right?
Yep.
And people always complain. To me, I always tell, especially girls, like I'm not trying to be like sexist or anything like that,
Yep.
but guys like to follow girls on TikTok, especially if they're good looking. It doesn't matter if you suck at dancing. Like you can suck at dancing and
Not John.
no, but people will follow them.
It's true.
It is true.
Yeah.
though.
There was this. My buddy showed me this video of this girl dancing it, and it was bad. But it had like 500,000 likes. I'm like,
He's like, I can dance better than that.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you're actually the second person that we know. I don't know if you know somebody else, but that get paid for doing reels on TikTok or on Instagram, which is really cool. Is there a certain threshold that you're supposed to meet before you can actually start doing that?
So it's kind of just with Instagram. I feel like they test out so many different things. So sometimes people have the option when reels were made. Some people don't have the option to get like trending sounds, and so I think it's just like a select few. I don't really know, but on TikTok, to get paid, you have to have 10,000 followers to start getting paid for your videos. And so I saw a huge growth in social and Instagram. I was like, I'll just try out TikTok. I feel like TikTok. I love TikTok because it's unfiltered. No one. It's not the aesthetic. It's like you have to be yourself on there. And if you're not yourself on there, people aren't gonna like you.
Yeah.
So I love TikTok more. And so I posted a video just how I curled my hair and it got like 10 million views.
Jeez. See, I'm telling you.
I'm doing something wrong, man.
No, I'm telling you, like it's like examples. Like I'm glad you say stuff like that because I always tell people, even if say you post 100 videos and they all get 2-3 views, it doesn't matter. It only takes one.
Yep.
But if you stop, that one could have been like a few videos down.
There's
you know?
a lot of little things that like we were talking about. Was it you or Jesus that said that like it takes certain amount of people to see it at a certain amount of time? They have to share it certain amount of times.
Yeah,
to,
it's all speculation just because TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, they don't release their algorithms. So you don't know how it works.
You just have to guess.
Yeah. So this guy claims to have like it figured out. So like on TikTok, when you
Brock
post
Davis?
something, I can't remember his name to be honest.
I like Brock Davis on Instagram.
I'll have to. Does he talk about stuff like
he's
that?
actually like what taught me what to post about, and
gonna
he just
check him
like
out.
he just said any trending sound you can find your niche.
Yeah.
So it's like as long as you educate people and have like these short little things, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think when we complicate things, that's when they're not as successful.
Yeah.
Because,
See, and people overcomplicate it, and I like how you bring that up because people will think you're supposed to have like some sort of camera equipment. You're supposed to have some sort of studio to do this stuff. No, just use your phone, like record something. Yeah. Some of the most viral videos were recorded on a phone, like
low quality.
I love the low quality videos.
the low quality stuff. Like you said, it just takes a video. All of a sudden, did your other videos? I'm sure that your other videos before that one went viral were doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
So right now, I go on TikTok. I have about 2.2 million likes.
see, there you go.
So it's like multiple videos of like teaching people what to do with their hair. And people are just like, oh, I love this. I would have never thought of this.
That's my favorite feeling when you find a cool video that you like. How to? I love how to.
How to clean stuff. I'm like, I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
When I'm on Amazon buying hundreds of dollars worth of things.
Yeah.
It's funny because everyone's TikTok is curated to what you're liking and what you're searching. Because mine's not so much dancing videos. Mine's like different ways like stock investors, like entrepreneurs.
Trying to find the dancing ones.
So like when he's like, "Hey, did you see this video?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Why wouldn't it pop up on mine?" You know. And then, but then it goes based off the algorithm what you're looking at. Because if you spend more screen time on certain TikToks, they're obviously going to push those.
It's so nuts.
I love the. So I'm the TikTok
Oh,
guy
okay.
at work. I don't care, dude. This is my pride and joy here.
He thinks he's a TikTok, but I told him we needed to be doing more TikTok for videos for the podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to think of something. But like trend wise, like for some reason I get all the trends on mine, and then I'll save the sounds for rainy days. And I'm like, I remember I have a sound for this, and I'll go and look for the sound. Or if I have an idea in my head, I'll go through my sounds one by one until I get that one sound that kind of like I like, and then we do all the editing on the computer and stuff. So it's a little more than that. But in the short sense, like it usually translates. Sometimes it doesn't go too good, but
but it just it's just gonna take that one video.
Typically, what I do is whenever I'm in that like creative mood, I'll just scroll on Instagram, and anytime I see someone that's trending, I'll make a video right then and there. I don't even know the caption of what I'm gonna post on it yet.
Yeah.
And then if I have that idea, I go back and look into my drafts, and I see, oh, that one would be great about teaching someone that they need to get haircuts or whatever.
So you like pre-record?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, see, and like it's like little things like that, which is cool because a lot of people that are a little bit older, they think social media is not going to benefit them or their business is in any way. But slowly we've been seeing like a shift that you need social media no matter what business you're in, because now I'm getting reached out by companies that I never thought would have reached out, that they're like, I need some content, like what can you do, and so they're starting to realize because in order to thrive in nowadays is you have to jump on social media. Like
you have to.
That's going to help you. It's going to help your business. It's going to help people get to know that don't know your business right now and be like, hey, like I saw this cool reel, or they share it. It's all about sharing right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, how cool is it too that like people get to know you on a personal level? So I have a ton of my followers that aren't even from here, and they're like, hey, I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
And it's like just because you post relatable content, and so I always think of it as like if you were to walk into a business that you know who someone is, you see them on social media, do you feel like you're gonna have a better connection with them or someone that you have no clue who they are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny because we get that with the podcast. Like, it's funny, people will message and they almost feel like they know you.
Yeah,
but you like barely know them. Does that make sense? I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's just saying that they sit here and they listen to us and they get to know us. They get to know how like we joke around and just speak. And then when you actually get to meet them, it's...
Well, if like the podcast is an hour long and they listen at least to one episode a month, like they remember the voice, maybe not even the face, but the voice. Mm-hmm. And they feel like, oh, they're in here listening to. At least that's how I feel when I listen to podcasts. Like I'm in the room with someone.
That was probably somebody on the wall that you just freaking completely annihilated.
I love it.
I still left a stain on there.
I was your fan. What are you? That's your first fan. You just killed him. Sorry, R.I.P.
We're gonna have to find another one somewhere.
Well, what's up?
No, go
I
ahead.
always catch myself though, because sometimes I'll post on my story about like my dogs or like my husband, and then I'll have people come in and be like, "How's Dallas?" My dog, and I'm like, "I heard Dallas got into this and this," and I'm like,
"Who?
Wait, what?" I'm like, "How'd you know that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I post on social media." And then there's sometimes where I post about like super personal lady stuff, and people are like, "Hey, how'd you like that?" And I'm like,
huh?
What?
I'm trying to remember.
I'm like, did I post that? I'm like, oh yeah, it's great. I'm like, I can't believe I posted that.
Do you have a separate account besides your BraggnBeauty?
I do, but I don't like typically post about it.
Because it's too many accounts, right? Like it starts getting like, now I have to post my personal stuff over here. Now I have to post this over here. Now I have.
It's so funny. Like if you look at my hair page, like my captions are long. And if you look at my personal page, I'll post a picture of me and my husband. I'm like, he's cool. And that's the caption.
He looks at it and he's like, where's my paragraph?
He's like, thanks. Yeah, where's my 3 things you love about me?
How's your husband supportive with all this? Is he like the backbone when you get home? You're like, oh, dude, I had like a stressful day, or is it?
It's kind of cool. Like my husband's the exact opposite of me. I'm so like driven, and I just want to like go. And he's more like homebody. He has a 9 to 5. He works for the hospital. He's just chill. He has a 401k set up. He's got retirement going. He gets taxes taken out. And so it's really good because I'll come home and I'll be like, oh, I have all these ideas. And he's like, let's just hang out. Let's just chill. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Let's just chill. No, he's really supportive.
When she talks about that, I see her just like running around the house.
All the time.
And her husband just like cooking something, just like
Or
looking.
he's got an AirPod in, and I'm like, what are you watching? He's like, I'm looking at reviews for vacuums. And I'm like, reviews? I'm like, you're so simple.
Yeah, and it's cool because I always talk about like entrepreneurs and how like for yourself, like we have all these ideas going on in our head.
All the
like
ideas.
it's a constant. If you're looking to get into being your own boss and things like that, it's a 24/7 job. It's not something that it's just at 5 o'clock you're done, you're out. No, it doesn't happen like that.
It's like the TikTok trends where it's like, I quit my 9 to 5 to work for myself, and now I work 24/7.
Yeah,
it's so true, and I think it all comes down to like time management, and that's been something like really difficult to learn. Of like, okay, I have an hour. I just spent 5 hours on my phone on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, Devyn, in those 5 hours, what could I have done? And so I'm like, okay, I could have created content. I could have responded back to people. I could have booked appointments.
But even just looking at content, it just inspires you to create your own content yourself.
100%. I always strive like 15 minutes a day. I strive to actively scroll to find trends and to find things I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of time, like, I feel like caffeine and energy helps my ADHD. So I'll scroll and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm on fire right now.
All 5 fingers.
I got 5 fingers. I got my toes on another screen.
No, but that's where I was gonna go with it. Is that it's not for everybody, you know, and it's cool. I don't like talk bad about them. Like, oh, if you're comfortable with a 9 to 5, then cool. Like, it's not made for everybody. Like,
100%.
So that's why it's really cool that he's super supportive. Do you ever get, especially because when you're a girl, it sucks because it happens a lot to girls on social media. What I've noticed, which is really weird, that people tell me, it's usually other girls that are hating on girls.
Yeah.
And do you ever get like other people like, oh, that's so stupid, that's not?
I do sometimes, but I'm just like sarcastic, so I like will respond back. People be like, this doesn't work, and I'm like, that's cool, it worked for me, so sucks to suck.
They're like, oh.
They're like angry, and I'm like, get out your anger in my comment section. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like if that's where you can release it, whatever.
That's
like
the greatest part about like social media, as long as you don't care.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you have to get to that
cannot
point
care.
because there's some people who will see a comment and it just destroys them because
yeah.
they're like, oh, well, I do suck. You know, like,
Oh yeah. Well, I posted like a TikTok about curling my hair, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, what it's like to have white girl hair," and I'm like, "Okay, like I can't really change it, so
well, sorry for it. Like, it's
sorry
like-
for ruining that." And they're like, "You have thin hair," and I'm like, "Thank you. I'm so glad you noticed that."
No, and it's it's as long as you can get past the whole like comment section or the DM, and I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens a lot to girls.
Yep.
Is that they get a bunch of creeps, like guys. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
all the time.
They get like unsolicited pictures. They get like a bunch of random things like that. Is that something that you've learned to kind of like just brush off?
Yeah, I just like make a joke out of it. I'll post out my story and be like, "Hey guys, I'm like not taking feet pics right now, but does anybody want? Here's this guy."
You should definitely use your husband for this then.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's what I told with Baby Yoda, because she gets weird guys in her messages saying like, "Hey, I'll buy your feet pics."
Yeah.
And I was like, you should take pictures of your husband's feet and then send them to
Oh, Juan's curly, funky feet.
yeah, and then send him those pictures.
Yeah.
And I was like, and now he can make a side income.
I know. I'm like, Matt, like, listen, there's room for potential here. I mean, you got the lengthy toes. You can do this.
It's like they won't know.
They have no clue. We'll just paint one toenail, like a little chip it, and like you'll never know.
It's like little side money for your vacuum.
Hey, like I
love
told her, if you do it, you know, that's extra income right
I
there.
love it. I feel like, oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? I feel like with social media and like going back to the girls, like supporting girls, I honestly think we're in a community right now where we don't gatekeep anymore. Like secrets, we don't keep them. It used to be like, oh, how did you get followers on Instagram? How did you edit your pictures? What presets did you use? And now people are just wanting to share, and I think it's building more of a community amongst the women's influencers and just women in general on Instagram. And
Yeah,
so
just overall too. I hate it when people reach out to me and like want some advice in like photography or whatever the case may be. I give it to them. I'm not like, oh no, like figure it out on your own.
It's never like a competition thing.
Because as soon as you find like as soon as you make it a competition, then like people are gonna pass you really easy. Because right now in the photography world here, I'm not saying everybody here in Idaho, but a lot of people gatekeep locations. You reach out to them. No, you reach out to them and you'll be like, where is this at? Because, you know, I have someone like a client looking to get something similar like this. And they're like, oh, we just have to drive around.
well, I'll send it to you for $10, and it's like, just drop me a pin.
I don't follow. Like,
No, I'm serious.
Like it's not that big.
Some people are gatekeep like that. And
it's really dumb though, because we're in Idaho Falls. It's not like we're in a huge area. Like eventually you'll show that picture to someone and they're like, oh yeah, it's just down Lincoln.
Oh yeah, that's in my backyard actually.
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
It's
that's
like,
right.
oh, I let her. Actually, I charged her to take it.
Yeah, and but when you surround yourself with those like right people, because if they grow, you grow, everyone grows. There's plenty of room for everybody, and
100%.
the moment you think everything's like me is like that's. I feel like when you're gonna, it's a downfall from there.
Yeah.
And then, like long term, whoever, I guess the best stay at the end. You like dwindle out all the people that just did it for like the short term.
No, and then you wonder why. I mean, people will wonder why there's like these little cliques. There's these little cliques because they don't care about competition. They're trying to help each other. Like
100%.
if someone reaches out to you and like for advice, I'm pretty sure you're gonna tell them.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't care if you also do like with photography. I have photographers message me all the time, like, "Hey, like where was this?" I'm like, "I was right over here."
Or like, "Hey, how did you edit this?" And you're like, "Hey, I did this, but it might not work for your," because like everything's so different.
Yeah,
It's kind of, I think the industry we're in is kind of the same industry you're in. Yeah, we might have like 10 photographers and 10 videographers, but each 10 of them have like
Something
every single
different.
one different style.
100%.
And so like whoever your client is going to go with you because of your style. As long
Yeah.
as your stuff is.
When I like with hair, it used to be like gatekeeping toners of like what you would like formulate to tone someone's hair, to color someone's hair. And now everybody's just like, "Hey, what'd you tone with?" It's like, "Oh, I toned with this," and you're gonna get a completely different outcome, and that's okay.
yeah.
You should bring it back that color, the Sharon Williams color. It just as like a it's like, that needs to be.
Oh, that's PTSD right there. I go into Lowe's and I'm like,
you see the
shoot
color.
I'm like, wait, is she picking out a new color?
You see someone who has like a lady, she's like picking out color. No, don't do that
I'm
one.
like, no, stop.
I'm just trying to paint my
Susan,
living room.
run away.
It's like I'm just trying to paint my living room. What's
Don't
wrong
get
with
the
her?
beige blonde.
So, what are some of your goals for not just your Instagram, but for your Glow Hair Co. Right?
Yes, Glow. Okay, so we'll start out with BraggnBeauty and we'll move over to Glow because they kind of intertwine. So with BraggnBeauty, I'm looking for in the next 3 years to start creating more of courses. So I want to put out courses of like, you know, sharing all my tips and tricks, and it's like now starting to get paid for those. Of like, okay, here's how I foiled the money piece, but here's a step-by-step tutorial for $15, or here's all these toners that I love for $10 or whatever. And so starting to make that passive income where I make all these courses and then they're constantly flowing in and people are constantly buying those. And then I want to get into education. I'm planning in the next little bit to do some classes down in Utah. And yeah, I just want to, honestly, my goal, I think it'd be so fun to just start reviewing products on TikTok.
That and then I mean you can start now. Especially the cool thing is that you have a salon now. So whenever you do get products, you can just review them. And one thing that I did learn recently is Gary Vee talked about it. I'm sure you know who Gary Vee is. He's like, don't, even if it's your company, don't be biased with the products.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like if it doesn't work, be like, this one's not so hot, but it is a little bit cheaper. Because he was reviewing his wine. Well, his parents' wine, because they had like a winery.
Yeah.
And he would review the wines. And he's like, it doesn't matter if we sell it. He's like, I would review it and tell you my honest truth. And it actually helped sell both.
Yeah.
Which was
well,
weird.
I think people want honesty nowadays.
Yeah.
People don't want you to be like, and I think that's where the world of influencers are kind of moving is we aren't necessarily, oh, here, let me send you some products and let's do a brand deal. And then they're like, I love this product. I'm like, you do not use that in your hair. You're lying to me.
Yeah.
Versus people just being straight up and honest. There's this girl on TikTok called, her name's Remy Blatter, and she just does honest reviews about clothing companies. She's a plus size lady, and she just tries on all these clothes, and they send her clothes, and she gets paid for it. But she's honest, and some of them she's like, I hate everything I bought from them.
Yeah, and I'm glad we brought this up. So like when you want to do reviews, instead of being biased just because they sent it to you, you know, some people are nowadays they see the fakeness in that. They see the fakeness and then be like, oh, she's just doing that.
But you see an ad and you're like, nope.
No,
Yeah.
so now on, even if you're like completely honest with this product in the future, they're not going to believe you because they're like, you're getting paid for it.
Yep.
So like just doing that in the beginning, we're like, oh, this is great, but in reality, it sucks completely.
Yeah.
And then later on, when something is actually really great, they're going to be like, she's just saying it just because she's.
Or they just give you that detail that's like, I like seeing outdoor channel reviews that
Yeah.
are not biased, and they're like, well, this product is great for the price. Like, I mean, you can spend a lot more for a way better one, but this is fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'm already going into that, whatever I'm going for.
Yeah.
And I know it might not be the best, but you know,
Well, I think that's like the cool thing is Instagram used to be like this fake world, and I love how more realistic it's turning to.
100%.
It's so cool,
So,
especially TikTok.
so say somebody's listening to this right now, right?
Okay.
They're in your shoes back in high school. They're doing hair. They're thinking about it. What are some of the tips that you would give someone looking to get into your industry now? because it's different for people who took the courses like 10 years ago, you know, because now it's different, and social media obviously has changed that a lot too. What are some of the tips you would give this person looking to get into the industry too?
I think whoever gets into the industry, I think figuring out what you want to specialize in and finding a mentor. I think that's the biggest thing. Finding that mentor and really learning everything you can from that person is a great thing for anybody going into the industry. And I also think social media is kind of the answer. Like if you're wanting to get into it, there's a girl I follow on TikTok and she's in hair school right now. She has like 170,000 followers.
Dang.
And she just posts what she does every day. So I think like being out in the open about yourself and what you're going through and your journey and stuff. And then I also just think, just don't listen to what people have to say about you. Sometimes you get so zoned in on, oh my gosh, someone said this negative thing to me, to someone, whatever. You just can't focus on the negative. The moment you focus on the negative, you're not going to be successful.
And they'll focus on those negatives because in the beginning, I don't care who you are in what industry that you're getting into, you're going to suck.
Oh, you're going to suck.
You're going to suck no matter what. If you're looking to get into hair school, like your first one is going to completely suck unless you're have this amazing talent that was given to you by the universe and like you're the chosen one and like it just did amazing.
I love it.
But like you're going to suck. If you're looking to get into hair school, your first few attempts are going to suck, but that's why we practice. That's why we get better. Because, for example, I look back to some of the photos I took in the beginning and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I was taking those. I can't believe I was sharing those.
Yes.
But then you like compare it to like where you're at now and you're like, you know, it's a huge difference. So don't be afraid to suck in the beginning.
Oh yeah, embrace the suck.
Yeah, just be like, all right, you think I suck? Yeah, you think I suck?
Yeah.
Like, let me show you.
Every time I remember in hair school, every time I do someone's hair, I was like, oh my gosh, what the did I just do to their hair? I always remember, okay, I might have done an awful job, but what are 3 good things that I did in that hair? Okay, 3 good things. 1, I had a really good conversation with them. We really connected. I did a really good haircut. I styled her hair really well. So then I focused on the positive in that. And then I did acknowledge the negative of, okay, you know, I could have blended this better. I could have lifted it better. I could have done all these different things. But at least I have in my brain 3 good things that I did. And then also in hair school, to not mess up people's hair, because that was like my biggest fear of like, oh my gosh, I do not want to destroy someone's hair. I just remember I would watch everybody else and seeing like how they would do hair. And if there's something that in their hair, I'd be like, okay, I would need to blend it like this. So try to fix everybody else's hair while I'm also fixing my hair helped me to learn a ton.
Do you have any clients that came from school that you have now?
I have like about 3 clients.
That's awesome. Have that journey with that one person.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And I think that's another big thing too, and especially in your industry, is getting that clientele. Because a lot of people will finish school and now you got to put in the work of getting that clientele. Because the school is obviously bringing you clients just because it's like at a discounted rate, you know, the kids are learning and things like that. But like when you go out and you work for a salon, like you're gonna have to put in that work to get your clientele.
Yeah, and I think definitely with the generation coming up, obviously we have it a lot easier than 5 years ago. We don't really need to go around the grocery stores and hand out our business cards. We don't need to like do a referral program.
Social media.
Social media is always the answer, but it's still challenging. And with our stylist in the salon right now, I just keep telling them, I'm like, I challenge you to post on social media, and like you're gonna hate it, and it's gonna be uncomfortable for the first little bit, but the more you get used to it, the more clients you're gonna book.
Yeah, and then they're gonna get to know you. At the end of the day, people like to be relatable with whatever it is they're doing, like their hairstyle. It's like me, for example, I've gone to Weech for, I think it's over 10 years, like getting my hair cut from the same person. And now he knows my hair like nothing. I can go in there and be like, this is what I want. He's like, all right, cool. Because everyone's head is different, like the way it grows, the way, like the texture, the way it cuts. So it's like, but he also has to put in that work. You know, I think it's like outgoing.
Social media, but then also like word of mouth. Because if you're not giving someone there's a lot of times people post on social media, they seem like this, happy, really like talented, successful person. You meet them in person, you're like, who are you?
Yeah.
You're not the same on social media. And I think just keeping true to yourself and really giving people that awesome experience is going to help people to come back in the end.
You know, it'd be funny. They'd be like, oh, that's my character I play on Instagram.
It's like, oh, that's my alter ego.
Yeah, that's my alter ego.
BraggnBeauty is my alter ego.
As soon as they put the camera in front of her, he's like, "Well, hey, how's it going?"
Hey,
like,
guys.
"Hey."
Welcome. I just wanted to tell you,
But before that, she was just.
use 15% off.
But again, I mean, we've been talking for a while. I'm really proud of like where you came from, what you're doing, like where your mindset is, especially. That's a big thing for me because, like I said, a lot of people don't realize that in order to, I think that's what it is. What pushes people like yourself is having that right mindset. Because a lot of people right now, they're looking to go party. They're looking to go. They can't wait for the weekend because it's Friday. They're gonna go get drinks. Like it's cool to do that too.
Oh man!
But at the same
me last night.
at the same time, you have goals and you're always constantly working to put those in front of you so you can
Because
reach
think
them.
about it, like how cool would it be if I have so many different forms of passive income in the next 5 years that I can work 3 days a week and still making the same amount of money, if not making more money.
I love how you like your mindset because again, I try to push everyone like with the whole passive income. A lot of these people who are millionaires don't have one stream like of revenue; they have multiple streams of revenue. You know, it's not just one. They're not just this right here is paying me all my money. You know, they have this going, they have that going. Like yourself, you have your Instagram, you have you could have your courses, which is amazing. You know, you're always constantly thinking of different ways to get passive income. And that's how a lot of people should be thinking and having that mindset. I love your mindset. Like,
Thank you.
I love that, especially for your age.
Thank
you know,
you.
not a lot of people your age have that mindset. And the ones that do, or hopefully they listen to this podcast, like that want to get involved in the hair industry. And they're like, oh, like she's doing big things. You know, it just takes a little bit of work. Obviously, none of this happened without you putting in that hard work, especially when no one is looking. You know, they'll see your Instagram. They'll see like you have your own salon now, and they'll see things like that, but they don't realize the hours and hours that went into like getting you to that spot. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, I just think too, like any piece of advice with everything, with the world that we live in right now, go into a service industry. Go become a barber. Go into nails. Go to esthetician school. Go to hair school. Because that's where the money's at. People now have such a presence on social media that they want to look good. They want to feel good. They want self-care. And so it's like I get my nails done every 2 weeks, and it's like just because I post on social media, you see my hands, and I'm like, I want my hands to look good. And I was like, I never would have thought to get my nails done. Yeah. But also with hair, like it's just very trending right now to get your hair done, to look good, to get your face done.
And it's smart to be that person to educate other people, because now you're just going to get, like you said, you're going to find that niche, and people are going to start following you and watching you. So let people know where they can follow you at.
At BraggnBeauty, both on TikTok and Instagram, and then Glow Hair Co at Instagram.
And be looking forward for those courses that she has. I'm going to hopefully here in like 6 months, we can check back in with you and have another conversation, see where you're at. Just because I love to show where people are at, you know, and hopefully they've grown a lot more. They could be like, oh my God, like I had another video go viral and now
now I'm at 100 million likes.
Yeah, and things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But we want to thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. You know, hopefully we wish nothing but more success for you and your company. So
you guys are so awesome. It's so good to learn from you guys, and you guys have such incredible mindsets. And I think it's so cool to find people in the community that are just like us.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you guys, and you guys listening. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Jason Momoa out.
Peace out.
See you guys.
See ya.
Say bye.
Oh, see you guys. I love you. Say bye.
Oye, Manuel, le gustó, era una coqueta. Oye, Manuel, le gustó, era una coqueta. Dime cómo suena la pobreza. Tú siempre fuiste la coqueta. Dime lo que tú quieres de mi coqueta. Sé lo que te gusta de salir.